Delay out with Third Movement. I want to bring a video to you guys talking about the DeChurch. Inside Christianity, inside the church, and that's the organization of a group of believers. There's people who are being sometimes raised up in the church and that are falling away, or sometimes they've been in the faith so long and they just get tired of church for whatever reason, they just leave. I don't want to make this about the reason why people are leaving, but the issue of people is leaving the church. And I want to talk about the three reasons, or the three things that we can do to make the church appear more where people will actually want to stay. I may even want to add a fourth one. I'm gonna just decide that I'm going on a wing here. All right, so the issue is people are leaving the church for a bunch of different reasons. People are leaving the church, but I'm gonna give you the three reasons why, possibly four, people are leaving. About people, I'm gonna give you three reasons why, possibly four things we can do to stop people from leaving the church. All right, so the first thing is when I talk to a lot of the people that are de-churched, that I can talk to. One of the biggest thing is they say they hear a gospel preached, but it's not walked. They hear people talking about a gospel and how we should live it, but they're not living it themselves. And Jesus called that hypocrisy. Jesus called those people actors, people who are acting like they're holy, but they're not. And I think that's where we have to start is we have to stop preaching and more start walking. I forgot who said this. I'm going to quote somebody and I don't know who I'm quoting. I know who I'm quoting, but I forgot the person who did it. It says that the best way he preached to people is the way he walked. Like sometimes he didn't have to say a word to preach the gospel. It was more about the way he walked. And I think we need to pick up from that. The thing that's happening is we got so many good teachers. We got so many good speakers. We are a culture who love great speakers, great orators. I know I'm one. I love to hear a good speaker bring the word of God, or preach the word of God, or teach the word of God, right? And we can get caught up into the teachers, but not so much caught up into the things that he teaching, or the lifestyle that he teaches calls us to live. So we have to be careful about a great teacher. We have to be careful about being great teachers. I know I struggle with that. When I do teaching videos, I struggle with the issue of, okay, am I doing everything right? Am I saying everything right? And I'm not going to lie, and I'm guilty of this. I'm being perfectly honest. Sometimes I put more emphasis on my teaching. Okay, make sure I study, than to put emphasis on the way I walk. I'm very guilty of that, and I think that's where we have to start and get back to. Is walking the gospel, right? Living the gospel out. I think that if people see more Christians being Christians, if people see more people saying, okay, I'm against abortion, and that's it. You shouldn't have abortions, but there's no walking in it. So if I say I'm against abortion, then I have to be for adoption. Like I have to be one day looking to adopt, or in the process of adopting, or done adopted kids, if I'm going to be against abortion, right? That's walking out what you believe. That's living what you believe. I can't say I'm a be against guns and then have a gun. I can't say I'm gonna be against guns and then open up stores that have guns. I can't say I'm gonna be against abortions and say, okay, you can't have abortions, but I'm gonna watch kids' struggles. We see over in China, there's an issue of people who can't have abortions. They are just throwing babies away. I cannot think of the name of the guy, over there, but he goes around and he tell people before you throw them away, just bring them and drop them on my drop them off on my doorstep, right? So there's a picture of a guy saying, okay, I'm against abortion, but I'm going to be for adoption. So, I mean, I don't want to make this the abortion issue, but you get what I'm saying? That the walk of it, we have to be able to walk what we believe in. That's number one. Number two is we have to understand that there's a new generation. There's a new generation of kids. These kids are dealing with things that my generation didn't deal with. Like, I'm 30 years old, and kids that are 18, from 12 to 18, they're dealing with something that's so different than when I grew up with. I didn't grow up with the internet when I was 16, 17, the way it is now. Like, when I came up, the internet was just beginning. We still had dial-up. I remember we had to get the AOL cards. But now you got kids when everything they do is on the internet. From McDonald's, when they go have dinner, to being in school, everything is on the internet. Everything is internet-based. They always got a device that's on the internet. And those bring in new challenges of porn, the porn addiction. Think about this. You always have a device on the internet, and the internet is full of free porn. You're a child looking and just being inquisitive and looking at different stuff. That's going to be something that's available to you. Then you talk about the internet bullying. You're talking about the different things. I mean, Google is amazing. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of those that love Google to death, because you can Google just about anything. But just imagine that. You can Google just about anything. Just imagine that. And we're not equipping these kids to handle that. A lot of it is because we don't know how to handle it ourselves. A lot of times the leaderships inside the churches are struggling with it as well. But we have to learn how to first equip ourselves with it, and then equip kids to handle that. Back when I came up, atheism, it was either God or a form of God you just didn't understand. But now you got an atheism movement that's so strong that, you got 11, 12-year-old kids believing in atheism, and they'll be able to bring a case against God better than the Christian kids can bring a case for God. So now we're sending our kids into schools unarmed with the things they need to survive in the Christian life. And what happened is we get caught up into these our own issues, these grown-up, quote-unquote grown-up issues, and miss the issues that the kids are going through. So when they get older, they say, well, you know what? He brought a case for atheism, so let me try to believe that, because I want to believe something. I didn't see my parents, going back to the walking, I didn't see my parents walking this Christianity thing, so let me try this atheism. So that's the issue. That's another issue of getting, not just kids, man, not just kids, because we have people in college. We have grown-ups who are walking into work environments with other grown-ups who are atheists, that are strong in their atheism faith, or the faith, the lack of faith, or whatever you want to call it. Different atheists call it different things. I don't know, but we're not equipping the kids to be ready to handle that. So that's another issue. The third issue is we're in the church. We're not doing things different. We're stagnant into the way we do things. Church on Sunday, church on Wednesday, church on Sunday, or church on Thursday. We have got caught up into 4 walls and locked in. I heard somebody said that the devil will let you have as much as Jesus as you want if you're going to do it inside the 4 walls. And that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense, because we as the church, and I put myself a part of that, we get caught up in these 4 walls, and these 4 walls become religion. Like, going to church become a religion. Serving, like, oh man, I had a rough week. If I could only get to church. Like, I had a crazy week at work. If I could only get to church. And we're not really too much. We're not doing too much, When I look at the gospel of Jesus Christ, I see a picture of the more you give, the more strength you get. Like you get strength from love. You get strength from loving God and loving each other, right? But because of the way we do things, church has become about us and getting to a building. Church has become about us and having this religion, this religious experience, right? This okay, I'm gonna get to church and I know we're gonna sing a song. I know the pastor's gonna preach. I know we're gonna hug some of the members, the ones that I don't really like. I don't really have to hug them. I don't really have to talk to them. And then I just go home and I can go home uplifted because we have so much talent in the church, and we do. We have a lot of talent in the church that's able to uplift people, and people go home so uplifted and so inspired. But in a week, they just go off and be the same people. So we have this issue of doing something different, not being stagnant, doing something. We have to look at the way we do things and say, okay, this is not working anymore. This is the old way of doing things. And the people that are in the church that want to stay to the old way of doing things, that's cool. But let's branch out and start these churches with doing things a newer way, or doing things a way that, we can be relevant to the people who are struggling and need Jesus. The fourth thing, I said I might do a fourth, and I really have to do it. This fourth one is discipleship. That the whole notation of the whole notation of discipleship is gone out of Christianity today, out of most churches. Now you have some churches that are doing a great job with discipling people and bringing them in and sending them out, But I don't know if we're doing that on a whole church level. I don't know if we're doing enough of that. And I think we need to, and I know we need to do a lot more of that. So we need to have a bigger emphasis on discipleship. We have to have a bigger emphasis on, okay, you're not going to just come to church for 30 years. No. We want you to come to church maybe 2-3 years, and then you go out and start your own church. Or you go out into an area that's maybe even DeChurched, people who fallen away, and start setting up discipleship programs there, or start discipling there. The issue that we have in the church with people leaving the church is a simple issue to solve, but 3 things is keeping us from solving it. That's comfort, that's being religious, following protocol, doing things the way my mother and them did it, doing things the way her mother and them did it, or doing things the way my father did it, or doing things the way his father did it, and his father and his father. When we're living in a day 2014 where things are different, and as a church we have to step our game up and not become different for the world's sake, but become different from okay, that's not working no more. Let's do something different. Let's really. When Jesus said, be sly as fox, but wise as serpents. That whole mindset right there. Let's do things, different to gain the people. Paul say, I became all things so I may get all people. And that's the idea. That's how I'm third movement. I'm out.